Hey, you guys, it's your girl, my Asia I May, and welcome back to Crown and Posh. Happy Friday to all the boss babes. I hope you take this weekend to treat yourself to something because I know you guys worked hard all week. I know I have. But before we get into Funky Dineva exposing Sheree and Martell, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and hit that notification bell to show your support and so that you can get notified every time I upload content. Now, honey, Funky posted a video recently on his YouTube, so you guys can check it out in full detail. I personally stopped watching Real Housewives of Atlanta probably about 3 seasons ago. It's just not for me anymore. To piggyback off of Funky Dineva is just not interesting no more. Like, we got the formula, and Real Housewives of Atlanta does not feel like reality anymore. Like, you can tell it's scripted, that these women come up with stuff and it's just not all the way real anymore. So it's just not entertaining to me as much as it used to be. But I still keep abreast of what's going on through other YouTubers like Bondi Blue, sorry y'all, Jamie That's Me, Niecy Dixon, even Scotty by Nature, and the rest of the YouTubers that I enjoy watching. I keep up with what's going on with the show through them. But child, Funky latest video on the Real Housewives of Atlanta's reunion just set me off, and it's going to set you guys off too. So I have some clips for us to listen to, and we're going to talk about it. So y'all know, after we finish, get down in the comments and let's talk about it, because it was very interesting to find out these things about Sheree. He also mentioned Martell Holt, and he didn't say too much of what we already knew about Martell Holt, but it's just another person coming out and everyone saying the same thing in reference to Martell Holt. So I don't want to hear anymore, Martell getting up on the internet and trying to down Melody, thinking that because he has this PR relationship with Sheree that, he's elevated, or that he won a prize that's bigger than Melody. Because as we can see, between the failed launch of She by Sheree and what we know of Sheree from the Housewives, you still ain't upgrade from Melody. It's going to be extremely hard for Martell to do better than what he was with Mel. Even though we know a lot of the pick-me's still ignore what people are saying, people with common sense are saying, and they are ignoring the red flags and still, pursuing Martell, or, just being thirsty over him. The fact of the matter is, he's not a good man. He's not a good husband. He's not a good boyfriend. Not someone you would want to partner with in a relationship, whether that be business or personal. Martell can't blame nothing on editing because he shows his true colors all the time. And multiple credible people have came out about Martell. So we don't want to use, Melody's just scorned and all of that. No. If multiple people are saying the same thing about the same person, then he's the common denominator. But anyways, again, Funky didn't say anything in reference to Martell that we didn't already know, but it was interesting what he actually ended up exposing about Sheree. And I was like, well, you know what? It kind of makes sense how she doesn't finish anything. go through the whole process, how she doesn't complete anything as far as when it comes to business, and her storyline on the Housewives. So we're going to go ahead.
From there, Sheree gets on the stage and told us a big, bold-faced ass lie. Now, they film the reunion when they are maybe 4 or 5 episodes away from the season finale. Sheree got her ass on that stage knowing good and goddamn well that she did not have a box of clothes sitting in a warehouse anywhere ready to be shipped. Sheree sat her ass on that couch and said her line is done, knowing good and goddamn well she did not physically have in her possession a single pattern to any of those clothes that we seen on that fashion show. Why does this woman continue to embarrass herself? And it's funny because it just gives at her age.
In this video, I'm going to show you how I went from being a burnout doctor, overworked and underpaid, to making over $3 million.
All I am about is superficiality and image. Superficiality and image. And I want to tell y'all something. I'm beginning to get it. Because we're going to take our time and fuck this reunion recap slow. Because there are so many psychological and psychology gems that were derived from this episode as it relates to Marlo. And I think we got some gems and jewels that'll help us understand Sheree. So from my understanding, Sheree got pregnant in middle school, had the baby, and never returned. Sheree doesn't have a high school diploma, okay? And it's weird. I wonder if any of the other girls ever knew that, because none of them have ever read her about not having a high school diploma or her educational level, which, I mean, is a decent thing to do. It's not nice, but follow me here. Marlo went on a whole diatribe about worthiness. And imagine the shame and the pressures and everything that came along with being a teenage mother, the way people viewed you, the way you probably felt people were judging you, looking down on you, the fact that you didn't have a high school education, that had to, at some point in your life, make you feel a way, make you feel less than, make you feel judged. And so could it be some of those traumas why Sheree has this preoccupation with creating an image for herself that makes her feel so elevated or make her seem so elevated because once upon a time in life, she was made to feel so low. And I think, and I wish, I think that that's the Da Vinci Code. Instead of coming up with fake storylines and being drama-filled, messy, and all that gossipy, let's be real. Sheree, that's the more evolved story for you. That's the stuff we want to see and hear about. That's the stuff that would actually make this show interesting. And not going to a fancy restaurant, over damn dressed, head full of weave, face full of makeup, gossiping. Like, that's the story we want to know, Sheree. Give us your childhood. Take us back to Cleveland. Sheree's never really discussed that part of her life. And granted, because it's probably embarrassing, I get it. And she's still holding on to trying to be so, I'm this and I'm that. And at this point in life, mama, you are this and that. I'll give it to you. So there's no reason to be ashamed of your past, because much like Marlo said in her speech, I'm an iconic ex-con. You know, basically, bitch, y'all counted me out. And now look, I'm sitting on a platform with XYZ people. Sheree, it's the same ending for you, baby. You know what I'm saying? You had a difficult, adolescence. You ended up marrying Bob, which thrusted you into a certain social circle. And now you're here. You are somebody. So let us in, mama. Tell us that story. We want to hear that shit. And not about how Tyrone's sex bad and Martell and all that non-interesting shit. They get on Kandi and her speak on it. Now, what's been baffling me over 14 years is anytime she called on something she said, she always plays this "I don't remember" or want somebody to give her specific bullet points on exactly what she said, knowing full and goddamn well she done ran her mouth about Kandi. Gonna sit up there and act like you was not talking about Kandi. And listen, the simple response that don't make you look like a liar is to say, everybody on here talk about everybody, and what? That would have been the appropriate response. Drew then fusses with Sheree. I guess from what I deduce, Drew must have been trying to start some type of fashion line, a fitness line, or something or another. Sheree must have made some types of comments about her because, I guess she's saying Drew ain't that fit. I didn't watch this season. I guess that was the basis of the argument from what I could deduce. And, I don't know what was said, but I will say this. Drew, we don't want no clothes from you. If Drew was making clothes. She said wellness is her brand. I guess, if you mean wellness, like in the form of like, I cook clean food for my family. Like if you're talking like, Rachel Ray, Martha Stewart wellness. Yeah, but when you start venturing over into like fitness and wellness, like I want to give Lululemon and I want to give, LA Fitness spokesperson. Drew, quiet as it's kept, you really give like mom in minivan.
Her social circles, basically her rags to riches story is way more interesting than the lies that she's portraying now on the show. So I definitely agree with that sentiment. I don't know if she's ashamed of it or what, but that's an actual great come up story that a lot of people could relate to. And had she led with that, I think this time around, she may have been received better. Maybe everyone wouldn't have went so hard on her when it came to She by Sheree. But Sheree's past and the fact that she didn't graduate high school, I don't want to harbor too much on that, but it makes sense as to her personality, how she moves and what she portrays now. It makes sense when you connect all the dots. But I feel like because she has been in the game so long, it's a disappointment. And I would like to know, did she end up getting her GED or she just said forget it because she felt like she made it at some point? But I think that would have been a great part of her life for her to share. And viewers probably would have, looked at her in a different light. But that not paying people is absolutely a no-go. You always pay people, especially when they do a service for you. And one thing I learned, especially being in corporate America, that perception is reality. And you have to be mindful. Sheree is too old not to be mindful. But her past and where she's at now explains a lot. I've been looking at Sheree sideways, and I know you guys have been too, from her choice of men. That also tells a lot. It tells a whole lot. So I don't want to poke fun of Sheree, the fact that she doesn't have a high school diploma, but I don't think she should be ashamed about it. I think that she should use that and really make something of it, because it would add a lot of substance to her story instead of her continuously putting out a facade, because that seems to be all she does. And just so, guys, I just can't get with it. But child, when I heard Funky exposing the tea, child, I just was like, I was kind of a little speechless, But anyways, let's get in the last half of this video. And then I'll be back again with my commentary, guys.
And women, that's the shit y'all always do. When y'all get mad with a man, y'all want to discredit him in the bedroom or say they dick little or whatever the case may be. And it's the same way men discredit y'all, calling y'all a hoe. It's an easy read and it's lazy. It's lazy as all hell. But Sheree, that ain't the real damn reason. Sheree brings up Martell. She says, Andy asked her about who she's dating, and she says, you guys know I'm not into looks. And everybody on there is saying, just be careful. Do you not see how he treated the viewer question said, did you not see how he treated his wife on that other show? And then Sheree, she gave as best a PR answer as she could, which is, if from watching him on the show, I wouldn't want to date him, but getting to know him, he's not a bad guy. Sheree full of shit, and she just want to ignore them damn red signs because she wants to ignore them. Martell Holt called my phone about 3 weeks ago, calling himself, wanting to discuss rather a comment that I made on a blog or whatever, and you can feel that same energy that Martell Holt gives on Love and Marriage Huntsville, that sneaky, conniving ass, narcissistic energy. You can feel the shit through the phone. Whenever I talk to that man on the phone, it makes my skin crawl because he's so cringy in the fact that he thinks he's so smart and he's the smartest person in the room and can't nobody see through his bullshit and his lies. So Sheree, you just a damn fool. If I can feel the cringeworthy energy through the goddamn phone, you definitely can feel it in your vagina and in your soul. We keep going back to she ain't smart. She ain't even got no high school diploma. Ooh, the woman just ain't smart, y'all.
And Q is a lot like me. I'm an empath, and I'm very sensitive to people's energies and their demeanor. Mostly, when stuff comes out about Martell, everyone's saying the same thing. He's a narcissist. He thinks he's smarter than everyone. And people can see right through him, except for the pick-me's. But this is another strike against him because we see more and more people, especially ones that do commentary on reality TV, specifically Love and Marriage Huntsville, they end up saying the same thing about Martell. And they usually add a warning with it. Martell's an energy vampire. He's sneaky. He's conniving. He's, deceitful. Where I get deceitful from, y'all. Miss Wanda is rubbing off on me. But he's very deceitful. And once again, the fact that he's oblivious, that people can see right through his act. That's why every time he tries to come for Melody or make Melody look bad, people see game. No one is typically on his side except for the pygmies and except for the men that do dirt with him, who accepts what Martell did, who sees nothing wrong with Martell did. And I'm just, with this stuff coming out, like, child, Melody already said, every time a demon comes from her, she receives 5 blessings. And the proof is in the pudding. But what do you guys think about the clips that I played from Funky Dineva's video? Did y'all already know about Sheree not graduating high school? And did y'all purchase any She by Sheree? What are y'all thoughts about Sheree and her business practices? And also, get down in the comments and let's talk about it. What do y'all think about what Funky said about Martell? Martell calling Funky, trying to plead his case, trying to get people to see his side. He's desperate. So desperate. Your perception, your image has been tarnished since it came out what you did to your wife. Let me say ex-wife, Melody Sheree. It's all tarnished. And guys, a desperate person is a dangerous person. So I cannot wait to see how everything starts to unfold in reference to Love and Marriage Huntsville. Tomorrow evening, a new episode drop. And I'm definitely going to give you guys a review if the episode is any good, worth giving a review. Because, child, the last one wasn't. But if this new episode is good, I will give you a review. And I'll probably just add on, stuff from the first episode that came out last week. But anyway, guys, I'm going to enjoy my Friday, going to do some self-care. I encourage you all to do the same. And until my next video, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.